The climate debt argument has been around for decades, but was made popular by Bolivian representatives at the Copenhagen Summit in 2009. The argument begins by treating the Earth's atmosphere as a common pool resource. This means that it's a resource that everyone can use, but is easily overused, like a fishery that gets overfished. In this case, the atmosphere is a storage site for carbon dioxide emissions that is rapidly reaching max capacity. In order to stop this overuse, policies funding renewable energy projects or carbon dioxide removal must be implemented worldwide. The main question, as it often is in economics, is who should pay for all this? Supporters of climate justice think that the all-time biggest polluters, like America, China, and other wealthy nations, should front the majority of this cost. This means not only paying for their own emissions reductions, but also those in other countries. While this may seem unfair at face value, this idea has some potential looking back in history. One argument is that wealthy nations should front the cost of reducing emissions since they built their current wealth upon pollution that continues to this day. The energy used, infrastructure built, and jobs created over the last 2 centuries would not have been possible without irresponsibly burning tons and tons of fossil fuels. This is why many believe that wealthy nations should not only focus on being carbon neutral, but making themselves carbon negative through carbon capture strategies. This way, there's more space in the atmosphere to accommodate extra carbon dioxide from poorer countries, giving them extra time to develop their economies the way wealthier countries already have. A second argument is that poorer nations are owed a debt since the damages associated with climate change will disproportionately fall on them. The very nations who contributed the least to climate change are already seeing some of the worst effects. In May 2020, Cyclone Amphan struck eastern India and Bangladesh, causing over $13 billion in damages, making it the most costly cyclone in the North Indian Ocean. In November 2020, Hurricanes Eta and Iota ravaged Central America in an unusually long hurricane season, causing serious damages to Nicaragua, Honduras, and Guatemala. And in Kenya, heavy flooding in 2019, followed by severe drought, has led to locust swarms larger than anything seen in almost a century, leading to extreme food insecurity. Worse still is the fate of low-lying island nations like the Maldives, Kiribati, and Tuvalu, which will be mostly underwater by 2100 if oceans continue to rise as they are. This is not to say that wealthy nations are immune to climate change disasters, as they are not. However, these nations have a stronger infrastructure to mitigate damages and recover much quicker. Poorer nations do not have the necessary funds to brush off waves of intensified natural disasters.